Today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Head on over to squarespace.com/rogue, sign up for a free trial, and when you do sign up for the service, use promo code ROGUE at checkout, get 10% off, and be more awesome than you already are.
You're pretty awesome, though.
Hey, well, okay, yeah, technically you can't go past 10, but we'll call it 11.
What kind of weird superstitious beliefs did you have?
This is the dumbest thing. When I got a TurboGrafx 16, I think I was in 9th grade or something, Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, there would be, like, I don't know, some special thing that gave points, and it only came out every so often, but for some reason, if one of us shouted the word chomp, then it tended to come out. What? And so we would be playing this game, we would go, chomp, and then it would happen, and we were like, see, it worked. All right, we're breaking down 4 weird ways that you can predict the world using rogue science. This is an article from Eamon Lahiri that's on themodernrogue.com, and I guess we'll rank them according to, like, what's most surprising or impressive, or just which one we like the most, right?
Yeah, I think so. Which one we think we would get the most benefit out of?
This first one is a study that indicates that you can legitimately predict the stock market's performance in the short term to a degree up to 86% accuracy based on moods on Twitter.
You can also tell when the stock market is going to be really racist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, filled with trolls. They're all like, buy, and then they're like, psych. To me, this seems like inherently true because keep in mind the market, the stock market is literally just a bunch of humans making rational decisions based on how they feel. And yes, there are day trading robots that have algorithms and all that stuff, and occasionally there's runaway spikes and stuff, but in general, it's humans making decisions that determine how the market does.
And to borrow a phrase that you often use, it's essentially a shared hallucination.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it only has value because we believe it has value, and if our feelings change, then the actual value changes. So in this case, they did a large-scale survey, and they looked for 72 different words indicating people's feelings, whether they are uncertain, and then they tested it on stuff that you would expect. For example, the day before an election, people in general feeling very uncertain. The day after the election, they're feeling another one. They found that periods of calm and a lot of use of words that indicate that people are calm were reliably correlated to either stock market going up or going down. It's great to have the evidence to back it up. It almost just rings so obviously true that to me it makes it less impressive, but also we're talking about literally predicting the stock market based on Twitter. That's amazing.
Yeah, they have just mass scale 10 million tweets over 11 months, and they analyze that. And again, that accuracy level is nothing to sniff at. That is staggering.
Oh, it makes me wonder how much of that is already being used. Because, you know, in a world where machine learning gets better and better, and that data set just gets larger and larger, I 100% believe this, and it's our first one on the leaderboard. Very impressive. I like it.
Absolutely. Here's one that's also kind of a no-brainer. Google Street View being used to tell how much you earn just by looking at your house.
So machine learning using an image analysis program was able to predict with a higher degree of accuracy than knowing people's demographics, their sex, their ethnic background.
Their education, all of the things that are usually used to factor into figuring out how much someone makes. This just analyzed a picture, which, duh, you can drive by my house and go, yeah, he's poor. And then just keep going, but it was very accurate.
It is wild to live in a world where wherever you are, you can just bust open a Zillow app and know what everyone's house is worth.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they had also done something like this similarly using Google Street View and people's cars. They could get a similar degree of accuracy just by looking at your car and going, oh, here's how much he makes.
Yeah, this one also I think makes sense because regardless of how much you make, there's sort of a percentage that we tend to allocate towards, our living expenses, our house, or our car, or what have you. And so if you're making a whole lot of money, your housing accommodations will grow to what you can afford to stay at. All right, so where are we on the impressiveness scale?
This one is interesting in that it analyzes stuff that's right there in front of you. I like the Twitter one better.
Yep.
I'm going to keep that at the top because it's more large scale, and I think if you extrapolate out from that,
Twitter one sounds like a magic trick. That shouldn't be possible.
It's got some terrifying implications.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So I'm
okay,
gonna keep
so
that
Twitter's
one
still
up.
number one.
Yeah.
The size of human male organs is inversely proportional to the expected GDP of many countries. This was a paper published out of Finland that was originally conceived as a joke, and then there's a shocking correlation between average penis lengths and the GDP of various countries.
It was a joke at first?
He started it as a joke, and now it's actually published. At some point, he's like, wow, there is a definite correlation here. Not saying that means anything outside of this appears to be the fact.
Okay, so, and again, you say an inverse relation. The smaller...
The more gifted you are in one way, the less gifted you are financially.
A centimeter increase in penis length corresponds to a 5 to 7% fall in economic growth.
And keep in mind, this is on average per country, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. This seems like a weird, curious statistical artifact.
You know what we should do? We should get with the guys who drove by the houses and used the image analysis program, right?
And have them analyze other images.
And no, just to do that, and then correlate it to say, okay, just by looking at your house, your penis is this big. And then you put a little thing out in the front
I don't
yard.
think that's how science works. This one is last place on my leaderboard. I feel like this is just like somebody found a weird thing. Although those formulas look very impressive in the paper.
There are actual mathematical formulas.
I feel like he's trying to compensate for something with the very long formulas.
That, you know what they say about mathematicians.
Now we know how much money you made.
Here's a really fascinating one. Taking the screams of babies and using those patterns of escalation when dealing with their parents to map out human aggression.
This is another one of those that once you wrap your mind around it, it kind of does make sense. Basically, the thesis is that what happens on the micro scale essentially happens on the macro scale. In other words, you map out the escalation of a child increasingly getting upset and adapting to try to get the attention of a bigger, slower moving, less interested in taking care of them party, getting the attention of a parent, in other words.
Or a government.
Or exactly tracks to. In Poland, you can see the run-up exactly follows that screaming baby pattern of escalation.
Timing and intensity.
And Mother Russia just takes longer and longer to turn around and do anything about it. That same pattern also happens in, get this, predatory traders on the stock market as they do a run-up trying to take over GE, General Electric at one point. And according to the original article, even the Bloody Sunday attacks, you could see that there's an escalation that exactly maps onto the way babies interact with adults.
The implications of this are staggering, right? I think this one is my favorite because it is an algorithmic model of human aggression.
Yeah, this one might be the most capital I important thing to figure out, like from a philosophical standpoint.
But you can't incorporate it into your show.
Well, yes, and. But also, man, predicting the stock market, what could be a bigger, more badass superpower than that? I will give this a solid second place in my leaderboard.
If you can predict when a nation state is going to have a revolution and when the government is going to change hands or something like that, the TMZ Cobra part of me thinks that would be a pretty powerful thing to have in your arsenal.
So I'm going for economic victory. You're going for military victory of the world.
I wouldn't say that the two are that far separate.
Yep. All right, crying baby, Twitter, 6 one, half dozen another, really. No, that's amazing stuff, though.
Ryan, they're jamming me up, man.
Just because they're carving up the internet and making a duopoly doesn't mean that you have to take it lying down.
MySpace is keeping me from getting my message out.
I'm sorry, MySpace?
Yes.
Wait, hold on.
The social medias, man.
That's not great because you're not in control of any of that. If you really want to be smart, you'll make your own website. Now I know what you're about to say. It's hard, it's complicated.
You're making it complicated. I'm gonna have to take you out of my top 8.
I don't even think that's a thing anymore, but I'm pretty sure that you could see everything that you want to put out to the world if you have your own website, and it's easy and beautiful if you use our friends over at Squarespace.
So you're saying if I've got my own website that I'm not gonna be like choked and throttled by the algorithms that keep me from getting my message out?
I'll promise that your independent media will be out there for the whole world to see, that your message will be heard, and that it will look beautiful, and it's easy to do if you go to squarespace.com/rogue. Sign up for a free trial, make your own website. You can put your own top 8. Heck, you could put your own top 25 on there. It's up to you. You get to do whatever you want because you're not beholden to some corporate overlord.
If I had, let's say for instance, a video of knives cut to Sugar Ray's Fly, and I put it right there on the top, everybody could see it, the social medias wouldn't say, well, no, let's not show this one.
Now all of a sudden, I really want to see you go to Squarespace and design a Jason Murphy website that actually looks exactly like a MySpace page, which is something you could do using the templates over at squarespace.com.
Squarespace.com/rogue. That's ROGUE. What do you get?
10% off if you use that code and 2-week trial.
Buy some knives. They're really quality knives.
I want to see this website. You know what I want to find out is whether that same formula of crying babies applies to YouTube commenters. Oh, no?
Brant's going to cut that out.
Did I? Oh, Every comment is a gift. They're a miracle. Just every comment is a miracle.
They're all beautiful, thoughtful,